Hello and welcome to Recharge Wrestling. We are here to plug you in to the world of professional wrestling. And I'm joined by my two compadres, Fisher and Krusty.
Hi guys.
Hello.
And it's Wrestlemania week. It is Mania. On the time of recording, we are 48 hours away from Wrestlemania. So excitement levels are building. And today we're going to run through the Mania card with our predictions and thoughts on each match as we go through.
Yeah.
This is obviously recorded before SmackDown, so things may change on SmackDown, but I doubt it too much at this point.
Well, I think we might get an extra match added, which we'll talk about, I guess. But
okay.
We're just going to predict the card as is, because one match has got seven. One night's got 7 matches, one's got 6, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be a 7th match added.
Yeah, so the nights have been confirmed now, haven't they? I don't know if main events have been confirmed yet.
The main event of night 2 has obviously of Roman and Cody, and I know John Cena and Austin Theory is opening night 1.
Okay, well maybe we'll start that then.
Well, they said that's what was said on Raw. So
I did that. I must have missed that.
Yeah, so Austin Theory and John Cena's opening, but it's rumored that it was going to be either Charlotte and Rhea or KO Sammy versus the Usos. I would prefer it to be the second one because I think the story has earned it. But we'll see.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just writing down my prediction because I'm doing this on the fly today. So
I am as well. Although some of them I've given some.
Here he goes.
There were some that were completely undecided going in, and I'm still not sure because there are some tough calls on this card.
Let's make sure Keeney goes first.
Well, I'll go first to start with, and we'll go me, Krusty, Fisher, and then we'll reverse that order for the next
Fisher,
match.
Krusty, Keeney.
Yeah, afterwards. So
you're always in the middle, Krusty, basasically.
Yeah, always in the middle.
You're the filling in the sandwich.
I'm the Krusty sandwich. You've got a Krusty sandwich.
God's sake. All right, let's get into the first match. Austin Theory, John Cena, as we now know, is opening the show. For me, it has to be Austin Theory winning this match. I don't see why you would get John Cena to come back and win the US title. That would seem like an odd decision to me. And I think this is a big opportunity to put Theory over. Huge. I think that's why Cena's come back. I think he's given Theory the rub. And I think Theory's reign has actually been brilliant. Since his failed cash-in, he has been on another level. He has stepped up. Where we all thought he might drop off, he's kind of moved to that lower top-tier talent. And I think he should keep a US title run going for a while and eventually push him up for the main title against Cody or whoever. I think that's Theory's prediction. So I'm going Theory, and I would actually be a bit upset if Cena won this, I think. But this should be a banger.
Yeah, I think I agree with you completely. Yeah, I'm going for Theory on a prediction level. The only thing that sort of made me doubt is the fact that Cena winning gives him like a record-breaking title run reign, I believe.
No, that'd have to be a world title, though.
I know it was world championships he'd have to win, but I'm sure there was something about him having so many title runs or something which also would equal something. But either way, I think Theory's got to win this, and they're so similar, and they've been compared ever since Theory sort of came on the scene. So I think it really fits for him to sort of. This whole WrestleMania seems quite like a changing of the guard scenario, and I feel this is a big one here. I'd like to say it's possibly a place for Cena to almost announce his like semi-retirement, but I don't really think that's going to happen permanently, but we might get something of that nature. But yeah, Theory for me.
I also, just a mini in-match prediction, I think Theory's hitting an AA. That's my prediction if we're in the match. Maybe not to win it, but Theory's hitting an AA on Cena. Maybe a STF as well, actually, because I think hasn't he done that?
He did the STF the other week, didn't he?
But he might try that on Cena. I think maybe even a 5-knuckle shuffle. I think he's going to do it all, Theory. I think he's a perfect opponent for it because he's so cocky and arrogant, and I just think I think it'll be a great match.
I think it will be a good match. It's going to be very entertaining. The fact that they're going to open with it, as much as you get the Cena pop, I just think the match is going to be very good as well.
Yeah, I think the match will be really good, and I think it's been I have to give credit to Theory for sort of building it almost on his own, really. Cena had that one promo where he buried Theory a little bit. But apart from that, Theory's really done the promo work and stuff on his own. I really like what they did on Raw this week with the empty arena.
That was awesome, actually.
Yeah, that was cool.
Quite cool. So, yeah, I've got to give credit to Theory to win this for building the match. Just to play devil's advocate a little bit, I do think there is a chance Cena wins. I am going to, to make it clear, my prediction is Theory to win the match. But I do think it's possible that you could do a scenario where Cena does beat Theory, and because Raw After Mania is such a big deal, you could do an open chat, because Cena did that open challenge United States thing before. You could have him literally hold it until Monday, and then someone big debuts from NXT or outside the company comes in and beats him on their first night. Something like that could happen potentially, or even on night 2 of WrestleMania, because there is a gap in the card. You could have, because it's opening on, night 1, later in the night, he might do a backstage promo or something and say, I'll defend it on night 2, open challenge, and then someone comes out night 2. But they're all things I think could happen. But realistically, I think the best option, and the option they will actually do, is Theory beating Cena, and the extra match will be something completely different. And Cena might be on Raw on Monday, but I don't think it'll be necessarily anything to do with Theory. I think he might do something else. Yeah, maybe even like a promo, like similar to what Krusty said a minute ago.
Yeah, I think the fact that Cena's not really been involved in the build-up does make me think.
It'd be a bit harsh, wouldn't it, on Theory for him to lose?
I just
is
can't.
Actually one critique I have, actually, the fact that Cena hasn't been there more than once. I think that's a little bit wrong. I think he should have at least had an appearance, and they had a little bit of a scrap.
Well, I assume he's got a busy schedule, and that is another reason why he probably won't be. Because to be a champion, especially
that's why I think if he did win it, he'd have to drop it on Monday. He's not going to be on there, because there's no way he's doing loads of dates. He could be on Raw on Monday and then drop it then. That's the only option.
But he wasn't on Raw this last Monday or the Monday before Raw. Like,
but the Raw After Mania is like the biggest Raw of the year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a possibility, but we're all going Theory.
I don't think that'll happen, by the way, but I do think they'll have big stuff lined up for Raw After Mania, and that could be one of them, but I don't think it will be. I think Theory wins.
Yeah, we all agreed there. I wonder if we're all going to be all agreed on this next one. It is the men's WrestleMania Showcase Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match. Braun Strowman and Ricochet, be the Street Profits.
So I get to start on this one.
Academy, be the Viking Raiders. No, it's Fisher.
Oh, it is Fisher.
Fisher started on this one. I mean, any idea?
Of course.
Well, I think I'm definitely going to rule out Alpha Academy, because I think they're splitting up.
Yeah.
I think this split will happen in this match. I think Otis will walk out. Maximum Male Models will come down, or Otis might not even be in the match, and Gable will wrestle on his own or something like that. I'm ruling them out. And then that leaves the 3 other teams, basically. Now, if it was a number 1 contenders match, then Viking Raiders would make the most sense, because spoiler alert for the tag title predictions, but if Sami and KO win the tag titles, it would make sense for them to have a heel team to go up against as the first challengers. But I don't think they necessarily will have the winners of this challenge KO and Sami. I don't necessarily think that is what they're going to go with. So I'm going to say that it's not going to be the Viking Raiders, because I think they're just going to do it and get a babyface team pop here. So that rules out them, and then that leaves a 50-50 between the other 2, and I really don't know, between Braun and Ricochet and the Street Profits. But I'm going to go with Braun and Ricochet, just because I think they're more sort of WrestleMania. I can see them having the WrestleMania moment more, but I could be completely wrong on that.
Yeah, it's a tough one, Krusty.
This is really tough, and everything you've said, I completely agree with. And I was down to these 2. And although I'd love you to have swayed me, I'm going to try and stick to my guns of what I went with, and I'm going to go for Street Profits to win.
Yeah.
One of the reasoning for that is they had a bit of a poor show all the way back at Royal Rumble, and I know they've since had a little bit of redemption with like Montez being in the Elimination Chamber, but I think they've had a little bit of a rough time of losing a lot since the Usos have had the belts. So I think possibly they'll get a push towards the title scene again, But I am concerned that Ricochet and Strowman could quite easily get this because they don't know what else to do with them. And it's good to sort of keep them heading towards the title. And I'm sort of talking myself out of it already.
You know what? I normally tell myself into. As soon as I stop talking, I'm thinking, Street Profits going to win.
Yeah.
So
I'll think Street Profits just to keep it spicy. And then
it literally could be either, couldn't it? I think.
Yeah, I think you guys are right. I actually think this should be a number one contenders match. And what I think will happen is my thought process is the Raw after Mania, they're going to do, I mean, maybe even KO and Sammy. Maybe who knows what happens to these undisputed tag team championships, whether they'll unify them or split the titles. That's a whole other discussion. But I feel like they might just have like a showcase tag team title match on Raw that absolutely, just an absolute banger with two great teams. And assuming KO and Sammy win, which I think we're all probably swaying towards, I'm more inclined to go for the Street Profits to win, because I think I just think Street Profits, KO and Sammy having like a good 20-25 minute match on Raw, just to toward start of the final hour, just an absolute banger. I think is the way to go, and have KO and Sammy defend. And I think Profits can lose a title match and still, I mean, I know they've lost a lot, but they do feel quite indestructible, and they're always going to be near the top of the tag team division, no matter how many they lose.
Obviously, they have used Montez quite a lot. They used him in Elimination Chamber, for example, as a solo star. I've seen some people suggest maybe the Street Profits could split, but I don't think they will. I think they'll keep them together.
Yeah, I don't think there's been much real. There's not many kind of ideas towards that. And I think with Strowman and Ricochet, now I'm actually not that big a fan of this tag team. I think it's a bit just put together, which when you look at the other three teams are proper teams, and I know Strowman and Ricochet are the fresh team. But also, Braun Strowman has had his tag team WrestleMania moment before.
That's true.
I know it's like a silly one with Nicholas, but I think I'm thinking how I would book it, and that's what I've got to try and. But I still think the Profits, because if it was me, I would not book Braun and Ricochet to win this match, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did win it. And I think the Viking Raiders are just the generic heel team to go in this match. I don't think there's much hope of them winning, in my opinion. And I think, tell you what, their 8-man tag match on Raw was really good. So I think this will be a really good match, because
I think it'll be good. There's not really much building. It's a bit random, but the match will be good. And there's no doubt.
Yeah, but just to clarify, my prediction is the Street Profits.
Right. Okay.
That's my prediction. And maybe we'll stay with another tag match. We've got a 6-woman tag match, and it's me first. And as I'm talking, I have no idea what I'm going to go for. But we've got Trish Stratus, Lita, and Becky against Damage Control. This one, I actually think is quite tough, because I think there's a couple of things that could happen. I think Damage Control could break up here. I think that is a possibility, because in the build-up, I think like Dakota and Io were a bit hesitant to accept the match, and Bayley kind of accepted it on their behalf, which makes me think they might turn on Bayley, and that Dakota and Io turn face and Bayley turns heel. But I also think Becky has kind of always got the better of Damage Control. So for Becky, Lita, and Trish to win, they won the tag titles off them the other week. It doesn't feel like an end of a storyline to me. It just feels like, oh yeah, they've just won again. Unless Damage Control break up. That's the only way I can see it. It's really tough. I mean, I'm still confused why we haven't got a tag title match at Mania. I think they could have split this into a tag title match and a singles match with Bayley and Trish, and I think that might have been a better solution. But
yeah, I think it would have been as well, to be honest.
I'm torn, and as I have to put it first, I'm going Becky, Lita, and Trish to win, but I'm really not sure. And my reason for that is I think Damage Control will break up at this paper at WrestleMania. So I'm unsure on Alpha Academy breaking up here. That, you know, in the match previously, because I'm trying to think. Too many tag teams breaking up in one night feels a bit much.
I think you'll get something with Alpha Academy with Maximum Male Models, but I don't think they'll break up. I think they'll come Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah, but I'm predicting Damage Control to break up Dakota and Io to maybe walk out on Bayley. Bayley takes a finisher from all three, and that's, you know, the kind of feel good moment in this match. So yeah, I'm going for it. Trish, Lita, and Becky. Krusty, try and talk me out of it.
I'm afraid I'm going to talk you into it because I am also going with Becky, Lita, and Trish to win. I feel keeping the tag team titles on Lita gives something else. And I'm already thinking, are they going to carry this quite a lot further to another pay-per-view, which sort of goes into the other women's tag match, because I think, spoiler, my prediction's going to be Ronda and Shayna to win. I think you've got a banging future tag title match there. Becky and Lita versus Ronda Shayna is a big match, especially for the women's tag titles, I feel.
So you think Lita's sticking around as tag champ?
I do. Yeah. Okay. Not indefinitely, but at least till another pay-per-view. I was thinking maybe they drag it out to SummerSlam, but I think that's too far. But possibly Backlash, maybe if we're lucky, maybe even Money in the Bank. You never know.
So we've got Backlash, then we've got King and Queen of the Ring in Saudi Arabia, then it's Money in the Bank. That's the next 3 pay-per-views.
Would they do a match like that at King and Queen of the Ring? I guess they could.
It's in Saudi Arabia.
They certainly could. But I also agree that I think this is the end of Damage Control. I think Bayley's it's going to be like this was the end. She's been trodden into the dirt and then she's going to be picked up from that. Also, I don't know whether you could have potentially Trish turn against Lita and Becky after the match. And then Trish picks up Bayley. And Bayley goes off with Trish, and then you've got another tag team there that could go against it.
Sorry, tag team with who? Trish and Bayley.
I've got a slightly different idea to that, but based on rumors I've heard and things that I think could happen.
Max Fisher knows it all, but
Fisher has inside knowledge.
My prediction is that that Becky, Lita, and Trish win. But then something happens after with Trish turning and Bayley being picked up and Damage Control buggers off and whatever else.
So you can have a 6-woman tag team title match: Trish and Bayley v Becky and Lita v Damage Control, or Dakota and Io versus Ronda and Shayna. Throw them in as well.
Yeah, everyone.
Yeah.
So here's what I think is going to happen.
Okay.
So in this 6-woman tag match, Lita, Trish, and Becky win. Okay. Mm-hmm. So that's my prediction for the match.
We're on the same page then.
Damage Control may well split. I do think at some point the turn with Io and Dakota will turn on Bayley at some point, but I don't think that's the primary thing here. I think they need to keep them together a little bit longer because they don't really have a heel women's faction really at all. I think there's a lot of rumors about Trish turning heel and having a match with Becky down the line at SummerSlam or somewhere like that. She did an interview before she returned saying she wants to work as heel Trish again because it was the most fun she had in her career and things like that. I think that's where it's come from. Now, if you've noticed in the build up, Becky and Lita are the tag champs. Trish is kind of the odd one out. And on the promo the other day, when Becky said that Damage Control said something about those two riding your coattails, Lita kind of stood up for her and was like, no, we're not. But Trish, just stay quiet. And I think they win the match, but whoever wins the tag match, and I'm not going to give away my prediction as a spoiler, the women's match will get a tag title opportunity, maybe on Monday on Raw. And then Trish will cost Lita and Becky the titles. And that will lead to eventually Trish versus Becky Lynch at SummerSlam somehow, or maybe Money in the Bank, probably SummerSlam. So yeah, I think that's where the story goes. But I think Lita Becky and Trish win to give the legends their WrestleMania moment that they've kind of earned over the years. They never really had. So I think they win for that reason.
Yeah. Okay.
There we go.
Makes sense. So full house on Trish, Lita, and Becky.
Yeah.
That was a long-winded way for us all to say the same prayer.
It was, but we're fantasy booking along the way.
I know. Yeah, we love it.
It would be a bit boring.
Look how close he is to the camera. He's straight
in there. It'd be a little bit boring if we all just said, "Yeah, I think this person's going to win," and then we go, "Yeah," and then we moved on. The 5-minute video.
All right, next match. I mean, I'll say next. I don't know the order, but Seth freaking Rollins versus Logan Paul in a singles match. Fisher, kick us off. Match of the night?
No, because it's the same night as KO and the Usos, but probably second. This one I've been torn on so much because I was convinced Logan Paul was going to win until partly Monday and then partly the last couple of days because he said on his podcast that his WWE contract is up after WrestleMania. I don't know if you guys knew that, but that might change your thinking as well.
Didn't know that.
I didn't know that. No.
Obviously he could easily resign before Mania, but his contract is apparently up. Now, if his contract's up and he's looked so strong in the build-up, like he's been getting the better of Seth every week, that would suggest Seth's winning. But I was convinced Logan Paul was winning until recently because I just think they will. Now, Seth hasn't won at WrestleMania in like 5 years or something mad like that. He lost to Cesaro, he lost to KO, he's lost to, who did he face last year? Cody, obviously. So it's 4 or 5 years since Seth got a Mania win. I'm going to go for Seth because of the Logan Paul situation. And I just have a feeling that they need to give Seth a big win. So I'm going to go for Seth to win.
It
will be a banger.
Yeah, I no doubt this is going to be a great match. I think with Seth's sort of wrestling background and choreography and Logan Paul's natural talent, I think this is going to be a banging match. But I'm going with Seth. I can't go any other way here. I think, as you say, he's been booked so strong. It would be quite odd for Seth to be trodden down anymore. I didn't know about Logan Paul's contract being up. I can't imagine they'd let it lapse completely. I can certainly see him having a match at SummerSlam, and I have it in my head that possibly they could do some pretty massive match, like even Logan Paul versus Cena or something like that.
Could you have Logan Paul as King of the Ring in Saudi Arabia?
Totally possible.
King Logan Paul.
Totally possible. And I mean, his social media presence going around with the crown would really elevate WWE. So, but yeah, I'm going for Seth to win that match.
Yeah, I'm
stomps.
Yeah, this is going to be. I think this could actually surpass the tag matches match tonight. I think this match could have some big spots in it. I mean, Logan Paul's going to jump off something through something. We know that's going to happen. It's just going to be. Again, he's probably going to hit a curb stomp to Seth. I mean, he already has in the build-up. But yes, I'm agreeing with you two. Seth Rollins is, like I say, I think he has to win this match for the reasons you said about him not winning at Mania for a little while. And you did briefly mention it, but don't forget who might be WWE champion after WrestleMania. You could revisit Seth and Cody for the WWE title at SummerSlam, wherever. I
don't think that story's done. I don't.
No, it's not.
I don't forever. No, I don't.
They've kept them very separate so far since Cody's return, and I just think that will come up again at some point. I know Seth is definitely a face at the moment, but Seth's character can it's kind of between it. It can go whichever angle it needs to. Because he's still pompous and arrogant despite being a babyface. So I think that's one for down the line. And I just don't really see, unless you got big plans for Logan Paul, but like I say, with his contract up, that could be a swerve and he's re-signing any day now.
Yeah.
But
I think he will re-sign, by the way. But I just don't think it will necessarily happen. I don't think it's happened yet. And if that's the case, then WWE won't have him win, I don't think.
Yeah. But yeah, I just don't see what you gain from Logan Paul winning. I actually think that would, I know as good as Logan Paul is, for Seth Rollins to lose at Mania to a celebrity, then I think that would actually be a bit damaging for Seth. As good as Logan Paul is, I think he's like the best celebrity we've seen in ring, maybe ever, but definitely for a long time.
The only way it wouldn't is if he gets like 3 or 4 of his celebrity base to help him win. Like it's
and maybe we'll see Jake Paul. Maybe we'll see all a couple of I don't know KSI. Or something. Yeah.
Like
maybe we'll see them
pile into the ring. Like that's the only way I could see, because that would be a WrestleMania moment in their eyes, and that's the only way I could see Logan winning. He definitely won't win clean if he wins.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think because I've just booked 3 baby faces to win in a row. I think we all have actually. So we're like, it's not going to be all babyface wins on this night, but I'm still going Seth. Yeah, I'm definitely going Seth. And so there's 3 more matches from night 1. I'll leave 2 to the end because I think we said at the start, there's a potential either of them could main event.
Yeah.
So the other match on this night 1 is the Battle of the Mysterios, Ray and Dom. I mean, I don't think we spoke about it yet, but what a pop when Ray finally punched his son. I know it's a weird thing to say, but it felt great. I loved it when he punched his son. It was great. But like, it's what I do love is it's taken until like a week before Mania for him to snap, because
this story has been going on for so long.
Yeah,
now.
Dom has been at him since Clash at the Castle, basically, and
it's taken. And it's been teased. It was teased even months before that, really.
Yeah. I just think they did so good with all of the like skits at Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Oh, those are brilliant. Yeah.
All of that and moving brands. They've worked this brilliant, almost perfectly, actually. And one thing I will say is I don't think this is the only match they have. I will say that. I think there is another match with bigger stipulations, which I thought may have happened here, but they've, kept this one until the end. And say, unless on SmackDown they had like a retirement stipulation or a mask stipulation, then that might change my mind. But, and I don't think they will, with like a night before Mania. But with that in mind, I'm going for Dominic to win because I think he's been brilliant. I will say he's been one of the MVPs of the last 6 months of WWE TV. I think he's been phenomenal. His character work, and actually in ring he's not too bad either anymore. I think that Dominic is going to gloat about it so much, and potentially with Rhea, who could well be the women's champion as well. I think Dom is going to win through shenanigans. Rhea, Damian Priest, Balor, maybe they all get involved and whatever. Dom will win with a really, he's going to hit a 619 and do Eddie Guerrero stuff, and he's going to really wind everyone up. And I think for a little while, we're not going to see Ray on TV for a bit, and Dom's going to gloat about it, and eventually Ray, Dom's going to basically wind him up so bad that we're going to get another match, maybe SummerSlam, which will be, a mask retirement kind of stipulation match where Ray would probably win that one. But I think Dom wins this match at WrestleMania. That's my prediction.
Good said. I also think Dominic's going to win here. I think this build needs to put somebody over who's going to be around for a while, which is Dominic, and I think that's what Ray would want anyway.
Good point. Yeah.
I agree with you that I don't think this is the retirement for Ray, which you'd probably assume right next to the Hall of Fame that he's been inducted in. And again, basically took the words out of my mouth. I think this is going to go down the line, and eventually we're going to get another match, which will involve masks. And I'm clinging on to that pred I made ages and ages ago that Dom is going to wear that purple mask that got gifted to Ray. And I think we're going to have like a mask for mask match or something like that.
I mean, he could do it at Mania.
That'd be awesome if it does. 10 points to me straight away. But yeah, I just think we're going to get this again at a later stage. But I think it'd be not right for Dom to not win here, even through, as you say, shenanigans. And Ray's looked quite strong this last couple of times against Dom, so I think it's time for him to be put over. Yeah, looking forward to this one. It's been going on for so long. It's quite exciting to see what happens.
Yeah, it's actually been one of the best built matches, I think, of Mania. And I didn't think, if you'd have said to me a year ago that one of the most matches I'm looking forward to is a Dominic Mysterio singles match on the card.
Oh, no chance.
I would have thought you were crazy.
Yeah.
But here we are, and I agree with pretty much everything both of you said, because I think the feud will continue. I think that makes complete sense to do some sort of career on the line match down the line. I do think this will be the end of Ray's maybe full-time schedule for a little bit. He's not going to retire, because I think he, he's said that he's not retiring basically, and he's going to get. Why would he? I mean, he's still he's brilliant still. And I think he'd want to work around his son and stuff for a lot longer yet as well. But I think Krusty made the point, and I think I was going to say the same thing, which was, I don't think Ray does this match unless he's putting his son over. What would be the point in him winning? Why would he be like, oh, I want to beat my son? Like, when you think about, long-term ramifications of that match, what would be the point of Ray winning?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Dom wins here. Probably won't be clean. He'll probably do something really dastardly. I think we're going to have involvement from Judgment Day. I think Legado del Fantasma will be involved in this as well. There's rumours that they will be involved somewhere. They're not on the Mania card at all, and I think this gives them something to do at Mania as well. So I think it'll be an interesting match, but off the shenanigans, Dom will get a win.
Yeah, and maybe the feud after Mania. I know it's kind of already started, but Legado v Judgment Day is a SmackDown. Assuming they move to SmackDown, which they may or may not do, you could easily do Legado v Judgment Day. Escobar v Balor. I just think that would be a good feud for both after Mania, and would make complete sense.
Yeah, it would. You're right.
Okay. There's two matches left for night one. I'll go for Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley next for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Fisher.
Yeah, this has to be a title change, this one. I think Judgment Day are going to be put over strong at this pay-per-view in general. And Rhea is the main part of Judgment Day. I think we've all been saying that for months. Charlotte does not need to hold the title beyond WrestleMania. Rhea needs this moment. You had the match 3 years ago where Rhea faced Charlotte for the NXT title and Charlotte won it. The whole story's been built around Rhea now being ready and wanting revenge, and I think she wins. And she should win clean. No help here, please. She doesn't need it. Rhea should win comfortably clean. And also, the thing with Charlotte is to get to that 17 world titles and beat her dad's record, she has to lose titles to be able to win them back, right? So
yeah,
there's no point in her having really long reigns, because then she won't do that. And I think that's what they're trying to do with Charlotte, to be honest. So yeah, should be their first match was really, really good. And I think the build's been okay. I don't think it's been spectacular, but I think the match will be good. And I think Rhea will win. And that's all I've got to say about it, really.
Yeah, I'm also predicting Rhea Ripley to win here. I think the whole reason they brought back Charlotte in her same character, which I was a bit disappointed about, is just so Rhea could finish this story that started when she lost to Charlotte all those years ago for the NXT title, and can finally beat her. And yeah, she's been so over. A Charlotte Flair win here would be so deflating and would absolutely burst this Rhea bubble. She's been throwing male wrestlers around like China used to. So they've made her look so strong. To have her lose to Charlotte here would be insane. So definite title change. It's her time for sure. To be honest, I thought she was ready years ago, but this is an elevated Rhea Ripley. Incredible. So yeah, and I think this match is going to be awesome. I really do. It's hard to say which two. I think at the two women's matches, I'd feel the title matches I'd feel would be the best. It's really difficult to say. I think they're going to be very much on par.
I think this has had the best build and the most is more interesting. But whether it'll actually be a better match, I don't know. They're both really good. So yeah.
So yeah, Rhea Ripley. Over to you, Keeners.
Yep. Yeah, fair enough. I do agree with what you guys are saying. I think, I think it would deflate the audience if Charlotte Flair won here. And I think the build's been okay, but I'm actually a bit disappointed with how I feel Rhea Ripley is very hot. And I think she is still quite hot in terms of how she won the Rumble. I said it before, I didn't like her being involved in a mixed tag defeat at the Elimination Chamber. I don't think that was necessary for Rhea Ripley, the person you're building for the title. I didn't think, even if she didn't get pinned, she didn't need to lose the match in the build-up. And I think actually between them, I don't think Charlotte Flair's done a good job of building this match. If I'm honest, I was a bit confused where she turned heel again. I thought she was the face, and then she went heel on the crowd on Friday. Just confusing, and that's been a problem with Charlotte Flair for a long time now. Is I just don't think she's a good character. She's a really good wrestler. I think her character is. It
was so disappointing when
she
came back and just went straight into the same Charlotte Flair. It's so boring. The only reason I've sort of accepted it is because I want Rhea to beat her, and they'll put a good match on.
Yeah, no, completely. And this will be a brilliant match, but I have to go for Rhea to win. I mean, we've put this just after the Dominic match. I don't think they will go back to back Dom Rhea win. They might do, but yeah. And I do agree with what Fisher said. There should not be interference here. Rhea Ripley should win this one clean, be booked strong. And then I think this then turns the Judgment Day over to SmackDown, because Rhea's going to be the SmackDown Women's Champion. Dom is going to basically try and take over the show that his dad was on because he beat him. And that's how I envision all of this happening. So I think Rhea Ripley wins. What Charlotte Flair does next, I don't know. And honestly, I don't really care what Charlotte Flair does next. I'm not interested at all in Charlotte Flair. To be completely honest, I'm really that fed up with her actually at the moment. But this will be a banger. I think this will actually outperform the other women's title match on night 2, in my opinion. I think this will be the better of the two.
Well, if it's given like the main event spot, especially, like it's going to be given a lot of time, whereas the other match might not be given the same. It's going to be in the middle of the card somewhere and not given the same attention. So. Yeah, if that happens, then I definitely think then it will be definitely. But if they're both in the middle of the card, I think they'll be about the same. To be honest,
can you imagine if they close night 1 with Charlotte Flair retaining the title? That would be absolutely
horrific. And then night 2 with Roman.
Yeah. That would be
like, okay, what was the point in this?
Yeah. One match we can't say that about is the last match of night 1. The undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship, the Usos against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. The build has been perfect, best build in wrestling history potentially. It's been unbelievable.
The best in a long time. Yeah,
it has, and it's involved Roman. It's involved loads of people, but I've kind of said consistently throughout that I think the Jay Sammy storyline has been the most intriguing of all of the bloodline stuff. And as great as Roman's been, and Solo and people have stepped in and done great things, Kevin Owens one of them, but I think Sammy and Jay has been like phenomenal storytelling. And I think, in my opinion, the pinfall has to happen with those two. I think one has to beat the other. And I think I know what we all going to predict here, but I will say I'm not I'm probably about 70-30 on my prediction. I think there is a fair chance that the Usos retain, but I'm going to go KO and Sammy. And this partly comes into my prediction for the main event of night 2, because I think the Bloodline downfall, even though I'm wearing the Bloodline t-shirt today, I think the downfall is happening at WrestleMania. And I know I've already predicted Damage Control downfall, and there's always been, talks of Alpha Academy. And, it's not all going to happen.
All the downfalls.
Yeah, it's not all going to happen. And I don't think the Bloodline break up at WrestleMania. I think that happens later. But this is the start of the cracks. KO and Sammy have said they want to take down Bloodline. Cody said that. And they're the 3 people who have a chance to take them down. I want this match to main event. And I know, you guys, I know Fisher does, I'm sure you do as well, Krusty. I want this match to main event because I think this match deserves half an hour. I think this match, the crowd will be into this match more than any other match on this card. Especially, night 1, definitely night 1. And I just think it's going to be unbelievable. I think, like, the wrestling, if this was just a wrestling match with no storyline, it would be incredible. But everything, the drama, there's going to be Jay and Sammy.
Well, that's why for me it'll have the edge over Seth. So I know Seth and Logan Paul, we said it could be the match of the night. Seth and Logan Paul will put on a great show, but I'm not going to be as invested as I am in this storyline.
You mean from a purely wrestling point of view, I guess, don't you?
Yeah. I just meant the best wrestling. Yeah.
But I think if you combine the two, I think this will be easily the best match of night 1. Maybe not of the whole weekend, because there will be a sleeper match that surprises us. There's bound to be.
Yeah, of course there will.
I think that the tag team turmoil or whatever they've called it is going to be absolute bonkers.
The WrestleMania showcase.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Don't know where I got tag team turmoil from, but
well, they call it that sometimes, don't they? But I think I think I said it previously. I think we're going to get a title defense on the first Raw, especially if KO and Sammy win. So I think KO and Sammy win, and this is the real culmination of the storyline. Sammy's moment at Mania, Sami Zayn winning the main event of WrestleMania. Okay for the tag titles, but that will make up for all the people that wanted him in against Roman or wanted him to win the title in Elimination Chamber. This will make up for it. Sami Zayn will get his moment here, and it should main event. And I would love KO and Sammy to have a proper tag team title run. No more betrayals or anything. No funny business for at least a year. Just have them as a team for a year. Because KO's been in the main title picture enough times over the last couple of years. He doesn't need another title run. Sammy's, been a bit not doing a lot singles. I think keep these two in the tag team division for a while, because there's a lot of banging matches we can have them involved in.
Yeah.
So KO and Sammy to win the tag team titles. Krusty.
Yeah, KO and Sammy for me as well. No surprise there, I guess. I think you mentioned about KO being around the main title picture for a while. I think he's deserving now of a title. I think it's been 6 years since he's had a belt or something crazy like that.
It is about that, yes. It's had a belt.
that long?
Yeah.
Since they're not had a belt, I think his last run was the United States Championship, when he was going back and forth with AJ Styles. I think that was the last time he had a title.
So he's definitely deserving of a big Mania moment. I think Sammy has worked so hard that he should get this. I also think it's time to get the belts off the Usos. And I love the Usos and I love them as champions, but I just want these titles split. I do not want one title, but it just doesn't work, in my opinion. It just makes everyone else not relevant too much. So I'd love to see them win, and then somehow we get these titles split at some point. And I think the Bloodline story worked with them all being together and them being the pinnacle. But I feel now you could work towards them dropping half of the belt somehow. But yeah, I just think it's going to be an excellent match. I agree with everything you said about the storyline. And having Sammy pin Jay could be pretty damn special moment.
I think that's the best way to close out tonight. So you think that they're gonna split the titles back into two? Not obviously straight away, but because I'm probably more inclined to them.
The
just
tag
having
titles,
one tag
maybe
titles.
not, but certainly the main title, I think, certainly has to be split. The only thing is, I just feel there's enough male tag teams to have two lots of sets of belts if you're going to keep them separate.
There is.
And the Bloodline were everywhere, but I guess KO and Sammy are going to be everywhere as well. But yeah, I look forward to, and I like your idea about them defending on night one as well. I think working champions is what we want to see here, and having them defending it every week or something.
If
like
Cody wins, he's going to, and I think they will as well. And that might be how they split the belts. They might overwork, like they might defend both belts in one night or something crazy like that, and then they end up losing one because they just do too much. Something like that would make sense. I'm going KO and Sammy to win. This moment has been building for so long, and they deserve the moment. And I think the key thing is that no one's. I mean, Keeney kind of mentioned it in terms of the downfall of the Bloodline. I don't think it leads directly to the downfall of the Bloodline immediately, but ending night one with Sammy and KO winning, and then you start night two with Roman backstage, and he's like shitting his pants because he knows it's falling apart. Not literally, guys. But you know what I mean? It adds so much drama to Roman and Cody's match because the Usos have already lost on night one. And then if he loses, it's like, oh my God, you know? So, yeah, I think you have to have them win. And I'm glad it's on night one for that reason, because then you've got that extra, that day to, they're going to talk about it on WrestleMania. The start of WrestleMania night two will be something to do with Roman, I reckon. Mentioned, even if it's just mentioned on commentary or something like that, a video package or something like that, there'll be so much drama. And this match is going to be incredible. I hope they give it half an hour as well, like you said. There's not enough good. I mean, I've said enough good things over the past few months about this story anyway. So yeah, I don't really need to say anything else. But yeah, Sammy and KO have got to win.
Yep, completely agree with you. So night two so far has 6 matches confirmed for night two. So we'll go through those 6. And
can I just say before we start predicting them?
Oh yeah, go on.
I know we're not going to predict an extra match, but what do you reckon the extra segment or match on the card will be? Do you reckon? Because there's going to be one, right?
Something to do with LA Knight.
Yeah, I think LA Knight and Bobby Lashley are going to be involved in it because they should have been. Bobby Lashley.
I was thinking, where's Lashley?
Yeah, I think
isn't he in the Battle Royal on SmackDown?
Yeah, so is LA Knight, and I think they're going to set up something in the Battle Royal.
Last 2, maybe in the Battle Royal, yeah.
And there could be celebrity involvement or legend involvement. You know, there's rumours of Stone Cold being at Mania, things like that. So there's plenty of room for something. But yeah, just intrigued with what you guys think is going to be. Obviously, we're not going to predict it on the card because it's not an official match or anything, but there will be an extra match. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, I honestly hadn't really thought about it much, but definitely has to be LA Knight.
Plus, I think one of the ones we'll get to, one's on Sunday as well. I think we're really short, so there's so much time for an extra match and segment here.
What about the New Day as well? They're not involved.
No, but I think Kofi got injured, and I'm not sure.
Because Xavier had a singles match, didn't he?
I think Woods in the Battle Royal as well on his own. So I don't know.
Okay. That would. That's a bit of a shame for them today. They're on every Mania, so it's a bit of a shame.
And they're on the poster as well. They were on the poster, so they obviously weren't meant to be.
Or even the Miz. I know he's the host, but is he going to get involved in?
He's going to be involved in a big segment, I reckon. I reckon he could even get involved in the Logan Paul Seth Rollins match based on the feud. He didn't do that in the prediction.
That seems to be the match he would get involved in. Yeah.
Anyway, let's get to night two's card.
I'll tell you what, actually, cheeky pred there. I think Miz is going to start to get involved, and Logan Paul's going to knock him out.
Yeah, maybe.
I think he's going to punch him with his special punch.
His metal plate
just because he's annoying him, because he does seem very dismissive of the Miz, doesn't he?
Yeah,
that could well happen. Definitely. I was just wondering if it could be like The Miz against LA Knight, but that feels a bit random.
That could be quite
You
cool.
could do a
To be
promo
fair,
off, but
as long as
Yeah.
LA Knight gets over.
Yeah, I would like to see LA Knight like co-host with The Miz and them to have back and forths. Could be quite fun.
That could be fun. Yeah, takes over a camera backstage or something.
Yeah, that would be good. Anyway, back into the ring, and the first match I've got down here is Brock Lesnar versus Omos. I think it's Hugh Fisher to kick off for this one.
Okay, well, this is the match I was talking about when I said I think one of them will be very short. They can't make this match go long because Omos can't have a lengthy match because he's not a ring general, is he? And Lesnar, I think, is going to want to get out there as quick as possible. He's going to do a few moves and they're going to throw each other about. And then Brock's going to hit an F5 and pin Omos, and we're done. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. This match will just be a fun sort of car crash of big moves. But yeah, that's why I think there's so much space on this. I mean, Roman Cody, might be like an hour long, to be fair, with the entrances. God, both of them will probably take 20 minutes on their entrance. But
yeah, I
think there's definitely room on this card for longer matches. I don't think this is going to be one. So yeah, this will be short and hopefully sweet. And a bit like when we got Lesnar Goldberg and it surprised everyone just by being like a car crash and it was fun to watch because it was just
banger.
Spear. Yeah, not the obviously not the original one from 2004, but the one a few years ago.
Yeah.
Was really good. And I think this could be a bit like that with Lesnar. Lesnar's due a big win, honestly. He's lost a lot. And Omos isn't, it's not a big win. Big literally, but not in terms of name. And yeah, Omos doesn't lose anything by losing to Lesnar because it's Lesnar. So Lesnar wins.
Krusty.
Yep, I'm going for Brock Lesnar here. I think they built it quite well, but they've made Brock look small and weak against Omos. The fact Omos has actually looked quite powerful, but that leads quite obviously, I feel, that Brock's going to then get his own back here. He's going to hit an F5, 1, 2, 3, and our man Brock Lesnar wins. And I think you're right. Omos doesn't lose anything here. There's some matches where you've looked at it and thinking, why is Omos just losing match after match? But I think can definitely be forgiven when it's against Brock Lesnar. So yeah, Brock Lesnar to win and beat Omos.
Yep, I completely agree. Brock Lesnar has to win this match. Omos has done very well, and he can thank his lucky stars. He's 7 foot plus tall because he would not be getting a match against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania if he was not that tall.
No.
I don't think he'd even be in the WWE roster, to be honest with you. If he was
you're probably right. But one thing
it's not on there for his wrestling ability. He's there because he's different.
Yeah. No, you're right. One thing that will definitely happen in this match is we're going to get a barricade smashed. That is a guarantee.
100%.
Yeah. Guarantee. Lesnar's. Yeah, I think this could be a bit of fun. I don't think this is going to be one that I'm going to be like, oh, what, this.
I don't think it'd be boring because people are like, oh, I don't think it'd be a boring match. I think it'd be fun to watch. I really do.
Exactly.
As long as it doesn't drag on for 10, 15 minutes, but I just cannot see it doing that.
And like, as much as we're kind of downplaying it, like Omos, whatever, when Brock Lesnar picks him up for an F5, it's an F5 on Omos, we're all going to be like, yeah, fair play. It's going to look pretty cool. So, I think there's some. I mean, this isn't a match I would have booked Brock Lesnar in if I was booking WrestleMania.
No.
At all.
I would have done Lesnar Lashley 3. That's what it was. I thought that was the obvious thing to do.
Yeah, you don't do that at the Chamber, do you? Do that here. But yeah, anyway, Lesnar to win, and I guess we'll move on because there's not much else to say about that one.
No.
Just, Lesnar. I'll kick off then with the second WrestleMania Showcase Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match. This time on the women's side. So we've got Liv and Raquel versus Natalya and Shotzi versus Ronda and Shayna versus Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville. And I'll start with this one. So I think I can quite quickly rule out Natalya and Shotzi because they're not a team. I think the other 3 all have a chance of winning. I will say that. I think Raquel was fairly well protected since coming up to the main roster. I can only really remember her losing to Ronda she may have lost another one, but Raquel's been fairly well protected and looked quite. I think she beat Liv in a couple of matches they had against each other. And obviously, Liv is a top tier women's talent now. So them two teaming up and they could go into the tag team division and go for the tag titles. I don't think that's a crazy idea. And I definitely think they've got something going with Chelsea Green. They're trying something.
I like that character.
Yeah. The only problem is I think this was meant to be Carmella, and whether she got injured or what, and Sonya stepped in on Monday.
Weirdly, they did drop last week and then Sonya this week. So she's had 3 different partners in 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's the thing. If this was Carmella, I'd be a bit more kind of in the Chelsea Green camp. But and Chelsea and Sonya do actually work as people that hate Adam Pearce. It does actually work.
I actually think they should have maybe gone with that in the first place. It makes sense.
Yeah, I quite liked it when they came together.
Yeah,
they called them like the complaints department or something.
Yeah, that's quite a cool tag team name. But what I think this match is building to do is they're trying to, or at least I hope they're trying to cement some women's tag teams, because there isn't any, and I think Chelsea and Sonya, just have them as a tag team now. Liv and Raquel, I don't see why you didn't have them as a tag team for 6 months or so. I think Natalia and Shotzi, that is just a thrown together hodgepodge of a team. I don't really understand. That's the two I don't get in this match, other than giving Natalia a Romania match. And yeah, Shotzi's her partner. But all of this being said, I've obviously purposely left out one team, because they're my predictions to win is Ronda and Shayna, because they should win this match because of how dominant they are. And I think we've all said for a while, Ronda and Shayna as tag champs it makes complete sense. Ronda Rousey has had her little title run now. It was a bit of a train wreck. Shayna's been defined down ever since she got called up to the main roster. This is a chance to get Shayna looking badass again, and she has done a bit alongside Ronda. And these two as a horrible duo tag team, dominating a tag team division for a little while, I think actually helps them out, and I think it helps out the tag team titles. So I think that's the direction they go in. And I know these aren't number one contender matches, but I think in my head, they kind of are. I think Ronda Shayna win and they move on to the tag team titles after Mania. Krusty.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going with Ronda Shayna. I think this is a way of making Ronda relevant again in a good way. I think this is something that could possibly save her, and also Shayna. I mean, since she came up from NXT, she's had a bit of a flop in general. I'm quite excited to see what they do with it, and I think I agree they're going to go on to the tag titles eventually after decimating everybody in the tag division. I think it could be quite a good match if you still have Becky and Lita holding those belts. It's got some big name in there, really, some star power, hasn't it?
Especially with Becky and Ronda's history.
Yeah, exactly. So it could be big. The only other team I thought possibly could be in it with a shoe of winning it is Raquel and Liv, just because they're quite, as you say, they've protected Raquel quite well, and Liv Morgan, I think, would be deserving of possibly another title run, but probably not with just thrown in there with Raquel. But I wouldn't completely rule them out. I mean, there's a chance you could get Liv and Raquel win this match, which sort of sends Shayna and Ronda on a bit of a rampage, and then they beat them up after the match, which just gives them this real heel angle. So you get the pop of the two baby faces winning. Liv's really popular with the crowd, and then just have Ronda and Shayna just absolutely beat down on them. So, but yeah, Ronda Shayna is my prediction.
Fisher.
This is a weird old match because it is a bit thrown together. The teams, at least with the men's ones, it's teams that are established. I mean, Chelsea and Sonya literally had one match together. Natalia and Shotzi just randomly together. Raquel and Liv have done okay as a tag team, but they're two top individual people that they've got nothing else to do, so they've just put them together. And then the only real team that makes sense in the match is Ronda and Shayna, and obviously is Ronda Rousey, so you think she's going to be pretty strong. So I'm going to predict them to win. Plus, I think when I said earlier about my prediction for the tag titles, I really think, because I don't think Lita's sticking around very long, right? So I think it would make sense to quickly put the titles on Ronda and Shayna, and you could do that as soon as Monday. And I think that's why they haven't done the tag titles on the Mania card. So they've got something big on Monday. You can have the tag title match on Monday, Ronda and Shayna versus Lita and Becky. And you do that. The only other team, I agree with Krusty, the only other team I can see winning is Raquel and Liv, because I think they're pretty well protected. I don't think that either of them will take the pin. And I don't think Chelsea and Sonya could win, because I think then they'd have nothing to complain about. They should lose and probably not take the pin either. I think one of them, Natalia or Shotzi, takes the pin, and then they can be like, well, we didn't lose on Monday. And Adam Pearce just shuns them anyway and goes, so you didn't win either, basically.
Yeah, makes sense. And just a quick question. What do you guys make of having these WrestleMania Showcase Fatal 4-Way Tag Team matches? This is the first time they've done this. And it's clearly a way just to get people on the card who they want on the card, who have no plans for. I mean, do you like it?
I think it's better than the Battle Royal, but I would still do the Battle Royal as well. If you're doing the Battle Royal anyway, you might as well do the Battle Royal on the pre-show of WrestleMania, because they are doing it on SmackDown. But I think it's a more fun match to do than the Battle Royal. But it should have stakes. They should have it as a number one contenders match or something. Definitely.
Yeah, I think the stake should be you get a number one contenders match the night after Mania. Like and then you've got 2 guaranteed title matches on your first Raw after Mania.
It seems odd, doesn't it, to put this on the Mania card and not give any sort of. I know it's going to push them sort of up the pecking order to get in a match like that, but it does seem strange, especially the fact they qualified as well for this match. Hopefully,
so the men, the men didn't qualify, but the women did.
Apart from Ronda and Shayna, who just walked out and were like, "Yeah, we're in the match."
Apart from Ronda and Shayna, yeah.
Which kind of tells you that they're above it almost in a way.
Yeah. That's a clear sign, really. All right, so there's 4 matches left. 4 matches left. We're nearly there. Next, I'm going to move on to the only match, like a kind of stipulation gimmick match, if you will, a Hell in a Cell match. Edge against the Demon Finn Balor. I think that's been confirmed. It's the Demon after his video package on Monday night. Fisher, Edge against the Demon.
This is it's quite a tough one, because it is Edge and he is a legend and he could win. But I do think the Demon wins this, because it's Demon, he has to. I think if it is normal Finn Balor, I might have gone Edge. But because it's Demon, why bring the Demon back just to get beaten again after the embarrassment at Extreme Rules against Roman Reigns? I think we're going to get some shenanigans here. Obviously, it's a Hell in a Cell match, but people will get in the cell or they'll get out of the cell. And we're going to get Judgment Day involvement. There's rumours of Gangrel being involved somewhere along their line with Edge, and they're being because it's going to be kind of Brood Edge, I imagine, to go against a Demon as well. So it kind of makes sense for that. But I do think that Balor will still come out on top, and should do. So yeah, I'm going to go for Balor to win. And I think this will be, even though I'm kind of bored of the feud because it's dragged on a little bit, I think this is the perfect way to end it. And I think the match will be really, really good. And I'm cool. I think it's cooler doing a Hell in a Cell match at Mania, because they haven't done one in many years. So for them to do a Hell in a Cell match at Mania, actually, did they do one with? Oh no, that was a cage match.
Wasn't the last one Shane McMahon against?
That was a cage. That's what I was thinking. It was Braun Strowman and Shane McMahon in a steel cage.
Was that
match.
okay? I thought it was Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, because I was just thinking of that too, but it was actually a steel cage match.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to go with Demon Finn Balor as well. Reason being, the last match I think he had was against Roman Reigns when the rope broke. Was that right?
That is his last Demon
that
match.
was a disaster. So he has to sort of recover the Demon. Otherwise, the Demon's just a complete waste of time. I think it's going to be a brilliant match. And again, like what Fisher said, I think it's great. It's in a Hell in a Cell to finally end this long feud. I wouldn't say I'm bored of it now, I guess. There's a few things I think they wish they'd have done slightly different, but here we are, and I think this is a good way to end it. And one sort of wild prediction I think we might get, I guess, I know Fisher mentioned Gangrel, but I think we're going to get the full brood here. I think we're going to get Christian make an appearance. I know that's
a
wild,
massive shout.
That is a
but
big.
I think they may have managed to get some sort of approval here to have the full brood come out because of how close Edge and Christian always have been.
That would be a proper pop if that happened.
A proper Mania moment. I don't think it takes anything away from AEW because he's not going to do a lot. He's not going to stay. I think it's just going to give them limelight on them. And I think it just gives like a because Gangrel's cool, but adding Christian into that just makes a crazy big scenario. And as you say, you get the Judgment Day. They can have a little scrap. That was my sort of wild prediction there. But Finn Balor to win, and I kind of hope that happens now. I've convinced myself in the head. I've actually been watching brood entrances today because I'm actually quite excited. But yeah, it's going to be lots of fire. I mean, with the build up with the video packages they did, it's just going to be a dark match, isn't it? It's going to be pretty savage. It's going to be fire. I think we're going to get probably some strange supernatural stuff, but not too crazy because they're both amazing wrestlers. Maybe some blood in the ring, like fake, like pools of it rather than just blood everywhere. So they could literally just be covered in this like red substance. But yeah, excited to see what pans out. What do you think, Kimi?
Yeah, I actually thought when I wrote down the Demon Finn Balor, I thought I might be the only person to go for it, or I thought there might be this might be one where we differ a bit. But yeah, Demon Finn Balor for me. And the main reason, you've both said it, but that broken top rope against Roman, Demon has to win a match after that. You can't have him then go on to lose to Edge because otherwise the Demon is destroyed completely. He can never use it again if he loses here. So
the only thing could be the only way that they could think is they want to kill the Demon off for good, and this is literally they kill it off. But I don't see that happening. But that's.
No, I just think it's just a good thing to be able to use. It makes Balor matches like elevated. I
agree with you, but I don't know.
Yeah.
If Vince was booking it, I'd think that was what they were doing. But I think because Triple H he likes Finn and he likes the Demon, then I think it's not that.
Yeah, and you're right. This feud's been going on for ages. I mean, it kind of started at last WrestleMania when Damian Priest was on the apron for the Edge AJ Styles match.
Yeah.
And kind of distracted AJ Styles, and then the next night he created Judgment Day, and then a month later Balor got involved and they turned on Edge. So it's not far off a year-long storyline. The only problem with that is the Judgment Day have had a few feuds, but Edge, whenever he's back, he's only involved with the Judgment Day.
And the problem with that is Edge might be retiring within the next year.
Yeah.
And he's only wrestling the same guys. He should be wrestling different people.
And it's always kind of Finn Balor, and there isn't much it's an all right feud. It's all right. I'm not having to go at it too much, but it's just been going on a long time. Obviously, this has to be the end. There's no chance this goes on after Mania. And like I say, what's Edge's schedule after Mania? Is he going to be around for, is he going to be around much? Or is this, again, we talked about Ray potentially having like a kind of not semi-retirement, but some time off after Mania. Maybe Edge is the same, where he loses here and then we don't see him for a little while. And then maybe he comes back and feuds with someone fresh. It'd be nice to see Edge against someone different than Judgment Day. I will say that. But yeah, and especially we've already predicted Rhea and Dom to win. So for then the leader, well, I say the leader, they're all kind of equal, but Balor feels like the leader of Judgment Day. For him then to lose as the Demon would be a bit odd booking. So I think, yeah, he has to win. I just hope there's not stupid supernatural heartbeat on the ground, whatever nonsense went on during the Roman match. None of that, because the Demon Balor and his entrance in particular is one of my favorite things, actually, because it happens so rare, but it's so cool. And at Mania, it's going to look amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually not that fussed by the Brood entrance for Edge. I'd prefer him to just come out with his normal entrance.
So would I, actually, yeah.
Personally.
I love the song.
Sod you both. How about that?
But
you'll all be excited when it happens. When Christian breaks that forbidden door, you'll get the pop.
That would be insane if that happened.
If Christian comes out, I will go mad. Yeah, I just don't care about Gangrel. I'm sorry.
He owns.
he does own.
He might not even be there because apparently he's at like WrestleCon or something the same day, and so he might be there in the city. I mean, so many wrestlers are in the city.
I just think it makes sense with Judgment Day being. But
it does make sense. Yeah, I think
it's such a factor in this feud. I think then he needs some backup.
Didn't Gangrel come out with Edge during his feud with Seth?
No.
Am I making that up?
Gangrel came out in AEW quite a long time ago.
Okay. No, well,
don't know why, but he did.
Mm.
Some random match in the. What was it? No, it might have been WWE actually now. I'm getting confused.
Oh, I think it was AEW. I can't remember.
Was it AEW? I don't know. Something to do with Matt Hardy I've got in my head.
Oh, no, that was the broken Matt stuff in WWE. It was.
Yeah.
It was the Bray Wyatt, Matt Hardy stuff, wasn't it? I remember now.
But
if Christian comes out, can I have a cheeky point on the predictions?
You can't have a point, no, but we will give you a big thumbs up. 3 matches left. I'm going to move on to the Raw Women's Championship. Bianca Belair v. Asuka. The main reason I'm going for this match next is because I'm first, and the match after this, I don't know who I'm predicting, so I want to go last. So this match is Bianca Belair v. Asuka, and I think the build for this has been poor. I don't think they've done a lot to build this. I actually think their booking around Bianca Belair for a little while has been pretty poor in general. Actually, it's actually confusing because I think she's a really good champion. I just don't understand what they're not getting right with her. It's just something's not quite there with how they're booking things. And actually, I don't think Asuka when she came back at the Rumble with her new look, I thought, we're going to see a cool, darker side of Asuka. And she's kind of not changed a lot. She just has some like green, bluey stuff in her mouth. That's the only real difference to Asuka. She hasn't come across too heelish. I know she attacked Belair. I think it was this week or maybe last week on Raw. But she hasn't. I thought she'd come across really dark and a bit more kind of cool and heelish. She hasn't really. And so my prediction, I'm going for a retention from Bianca Belair because I don't think they've built Asuka up to win the title quite yet. But this will be a banger. But yeah, I'm going Belair. Krusty, over to you.
So this one's been tough for me because I love Belair and I think she's a brilliant champion, but I think she has gone off the boil lately, as you say. But then again, I agree the build for Asuka's not been great. But we have seen her turn a bit more sort of evil heel this last couple of weeks. And I just think this title was a bit stale. I'm a bit bored. And yes, I like seeing Bianca Belair matches, but do I care about the title? No, not at all. So I think I'm going to predict Asuka just because I want Asuka to win and change this sort of title picture a little bit. I don't know who Belair would face next that I'd be interested in for the belt. So I think Asuka needs to go full crazy heel and just decimate loads of people for quite some time. I have no idea on this one. In fact, this is probably one of the tougher predictions I feel for the night. I just don't see who dethrones Bianca otherwise. And I don't want to see Charlotte go over or anything like that.
That's a fair point, yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to go with Asuka.
Oh God, I've been going back and forth in my mind. I still don't know who to go for. It's so hard this one because of the build being so minimal. Like the build's been nothing. So I get where both of you are coming from. Like they haven't really built Asuka to win, but they also. Who else beats Asuka? Beats Belair, sorry. But I do think you could maybe, if they do a shake-up after WrestleMania, maybe you could have someone like Raquel versus Bianca. I think that could be a good feud. I am going to say, how many champions have I got to retain so far? Not many.
Theory.
Pretty Theory. I think that's it.
Theory so far. Yeah.
And there's another title match coming in a minute that I don't know what to do with either. So one of them I'm going to go for the champ to retain, and one of them I'm not. Basically, is my thinking. And I'm going to go for Bianca to win here.
Ooh.
But I really don't know.
absolutely stuffed here because I've gone against two of the twos I think were different is ones that I've gone against you both.
Well, I went on one where Braun Strowman and Ricochet.
Yeah. We went profits, and I think this is actually only the second match we've gone different.
Yeah, I'm surprised there's not been more differences because it's quite hard to predict.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Cool. I wonder if people will agree with us or not.
Well, I've seen some people's predictions already, and some of them are quite different to ours. Some of them are the same-ish, because obviously I put it on Twitter today for anyone who hasn't noticed yet.
One problem I've got with my own prediction here is I'm predicting almost every title to change hands.
Well, that was my thinking. There's going to be a couple that stay on a couple to retain, I think, but I just don't know who.
Not necessarily. I think one retention is enough for a Mania.
It's very exciting.
I mean, it is, but I just think there's
and it all is quite stale, isn't it?
There could even be.
There are a lot of stale champions.
Even the short reign in one like Charlotte is stale because she's had it so many times.
What about the next match then? Because I don't think I don't think he's a stale champion. I think he can run, and that's why I was torn. And it's me first on this one, isn't it?
It's you first, it's the Intercontinental Championship triple threat, the only multi-man singles match.
This is why I've gone for him to lose the title. Purely because
Sheamus,
he doesn't have to win. He doesn't have to take the pin to lose the title here. And the whole storyline has been of him furious that he's in a triple threat. And that is the only reason I do think Gunter could win and hold this title for another year. I honestly do think that could happen because him in this title is perfect. But at the same time, if you want to move him on to challenge whoever wins the Universal title match or the WWE title if they're split, or he could easily hold that down the line, or at least would challenge Cody for it if they do that, because they teased that in the Rumble, didn't they? So I think Gunther might lose the title here, but not get pinned. Then it's a question of which of the Bang Bros wins.
Banger Bros.
Banger Bros.
Yeah, Bang Bros is definitely a different.
Oh yeah. And I think it's time to give Sheamus his moment. Drew's had the Intercontinental title before, albeit about 10 years ago, 13 years ago maybe. And Sheamus comes we were there in person at Clash when he come so close and he didn't quite get his moment. I think he's earned it. And I think Sheamus will pin Drew to steal the title away from Gunther. And Gunther won't even have a rematch for it. He'll just move on to something else because then he doesn't have to lose. And Gunther could even be the first challenger for Cody if he wins. So, Gunther doesn't retain his title. Sheamus wins. Is my prediction. Krusty?
Follow that,
I'm stuck here because I'm really torn between Sheamus and Gunther because
I don't think Drew's winning either.
My problem is if Gunther loses, what does he do? And I know you say you go to face Cody, but then do you want him to lose to Cody? And do you want him to beat Cody this quick? Not really. So, or Roman, whoever. But then the story is great and it's there for Sheamus to win that title, the only one he hasn't held, which is great. And as you say, I think we're also on the verge of a Brawling Brutes sort of just not really a breakup, but just a separation with the likes of Pete Dunne coming back to his old character. But then again, I can't get out of my head that we're going to get Drew and Sheamus in a tag team in front of us at Money in the Bank. I can't get that out of my head.
You've had that penciled in for a month now.
Yeah. I mean, the only other option is that Sheamus wins and you put Drew against Cody in Money in the Bank.
Because they don't have to put Drew in every single main event in the UK, do they?
No, but I'm just thinking if
Every time it's like,
they're going to be showpieces, aren't they?
He'll be on the card.
They'll be on the card. Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
So I'm going to stick with my prediction that I went thought, and I'm going to say Gunther retains. I do think yours is a very, very strong prediction, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to have to stick with Gunther. Yeah.
Yeah. So I purposely did put the order of these matches, so I would go last, hoping that I would have my mind made up by the time it got to me, and I am so unsure. So
go for Drew, mate, the trio.
So I don't think it will be Drew. That's the one thing I do agree. I don't think Drew's winning. I think it's one of Sheamus or Gunther, and I think the reason why I think Gunther makes sense to retain is. I do agree with you, Christian. I don't personally think you move Gunther straight into a title match with Cody because he would have to lose that title.
Maybe not straight away, but
yeah. And I just think Gunther has been booked. He hasn't lost yet. You want him to his first loss to be like, and I guess Cody would be a meaningful loss, I guess, but he's just lost the title. Then he loses the title match, and it's like he's in a bit of limbo then. And he's been booked way too strong for that to happen to him. And also, he has got that the Honky Tonk Man's record or whatever, the longest IC reign ever. That's on the horizon. I don't quite know how far away.
It's not that far away.
Yeah, and that is, I think, a consideration for Gunther as well. But I think the Sheamus winning the IC title, the one title he's not held, he's gone on about it for ages, would be a major moment for him. I'm just kind of in my head picturing what I've got. So I've got two faces, two heels. Yeah.
Really like he's playing GM mode now.
I know, it's really, really tight, this one. And I'm about 51-49, but my prediction is Gunther to retain the IC title. Because I think I do think he's got a lot more matches in him in terms of there's a lot of opponents. He still feels fresh. I know he's been a champion for a long time, but he still feels like a fresh, cool champion. But then I do feel Sheamus is going to win the IC title at some point, and if not now, when? But then who beats Gunther if not in this moment? Because, like I say, Gunther, if he's going to lose, he's going to lose in a match where he doesn't get pinned. That makes complete sense. But I know I'm going Gunther, but I am not sure.
I've been all the way through this chat. I've been so tempted to go, no, change my mind.
I was Bianca and Asuka as well. These two matches are really hard to predict. Really hard. Yeah,
this one is maybe my match I'm looking forward to the most on this night. And bearing in mind of the main event is
I think it will be the best actual match. And again, the story of the main event is going to be incredible, I reckon.
Yeah, but I'm going Gunther, but I'm not sure, guys. But
time for the
going Gunther
event.
It is the main event, the undisputed WWE Universal Championship match between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. Now, Roman Reigns won the title at Payback 2020. The Universal title. He won it 3 years ago, which is mental. It was from either Braun Strowman or Bray Wyatt. They had a match and he came out at the end and won the title. So yeah, Roman Reigns has had the Universal title for 3 years, and the bloodline around him, especially if the Usos lose on night one, is disintegrating. Sammy's infiltrated and broken away. Jay and Jimmy have had, I think, even Solo's kind of been a slight tease of him, having a bit of unrest, and the story is there for Cody Rhodes to win the title, but we have been here so many times on Roman Reigns' title run. I can't tell you how convinced I was at Clash at the Castle that he was losing. And even at Elimination Chamber against Sammy, I reckon there was some people there thinking maybe now.
I thought he was going to lose in that triple threat with Edge and Daniel Bryan about 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, he has had moments where people have been convinced. Like he had Brock last year. There's probably a lot of people thinking maybe Brock could win the title because it's Brock. But all that being said, surely this is Cody Rhodes' moment. Surely, like everything is. You can just see the final scenes of Mania. Cody's stood with the belt both belts, and confetti flying down, American flags everywhere. It's going to be a scene. And also, Cody Rhodes, with his character, makes complete sense for him to split the belts. I think Cody Rhodes is the right character you want as your champion to be like. I'm representing Raw, but SmackDown have their own champion. I'm not working both nights, or maybe he would actually, because he's a bit of a workhorse. But I could really see this being their way to split the belts and also get rid of the Universal title and replace it with the World Heavyweight Championship, or whatever his dad wanted, never won. So I think Cody Rhodes has to win, and I'd be surprised if most people didn't go for Cody Rhodes here. As much as
it's gone for Roman Reigns.
Yeah. So it is hard to go against Roman because of all of the times we've been here in the past. And Roman Reigns, like I say, has not lost a match for 3 years. So him to lose here is monumental. But the last thing I'll say is Roman does have storylines beyond the main title. He loses here, and then we've got a bloodline thing with Jay, Jimmy, Solo. There's a lot more to go on with Roman Reigns after this. So I'm going Cody Rhodes to win the title to end WrestleMania. Krusty.
Good Fred and analysis. But
Thank you.
I think I agree with you that Roman may not drop here. Just because I feel a storyline could work quite well with the Usos losing their belts and Roman almost sitting on his own in a room with no one but these two belts, and sort of like driving himself a bit crazy. Sort of everybody starts to leave him. You've got just him and Solo, maybe even Heyman's left him. I don't know. Maybe Heyman joins Cody. I'm not sure, but there's loads of different things you could see. I could just see this imagery of Roman sat in this room with his two belts, like on his own. Everyone's left him, and the bloodline's disintegrated, but he still is the champion, and he still thinks he's the tribal chief, this, that, and the other. And then looking at Cody, I said this before the Royal Rumble, so I have to be careful, but it's almost too obvious that he's going to win. The build is too perfect. But then this seems to be the way they've gone with Cody, because he just came back, entered late, won.
Entered number 30, yeah.
Yeah, so it's as if this is his destiny to do it. And yeah, what you said about the big, huge eruption at the end with all the flags and everything would just be pretty awesome. And it's such a compelling story, isn't it, with him being injured and then coming back on this like rocket trajectory to win the title. And if it's not now, when could he win it, to be honest? And what you mentioned about the belts as well, being split. Yeah, he's quite humble, isn't he? So you could say, I don't want to, I'm just going to have one. Even make a new belt for him.
I think that's likely. I think there might be a new belt if Cody wins.
Maybe with American flags on it. They like that.
US title, that is.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, actually, yeah, good point. Yeah.
It'll be the old World Heavyweight title.
I will love that. And Triple H loved that, didn't he?
Yeah.
He looked great with it. So, but my prediction, if you couldn't tell from that, because I sort of did a bit of a back and forth, is actually going to be Cody Rhodes to win. And I think the time is right, to be honest. I always wanted Seth to dethrone Roman, but that doesn't seem likely at all. So yeah, Cody Rhodes to close Mania as the new champion.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I've been listening to what you guys said and pretty much agree with all of it. I am going for Cody to win. I'm not 100% sure because I think there is, like Keeney said, there's always the possibility.
You can never be 100% sure against Roman.
No, and there are, he talks about if Cody doesn't win here, where does he win? And I've seen a lot of people discussing that. So Roman's closing in on 1,000 days, and I think 1,000 days is a big milestone that they've never done before, kind of thing. And a 1,000th day of title is one day before the next Saudi show. So there's always that potential that he goes 1,000 days and then loses it in Saudi Arabia the next day. There is that, and Cody could still be the guy that wins it, but they do a rematch there or something. That's the only thing making me doubt it slightly, but they've built to this moment, and you have to pull the trigger here. You have to send the fans home happy. I think you do KO and Sammy closing night 1 with the tag titles. You do Cody closing night 2 with his titles and pyro everywhere, and everyone goes home happy. So
absolute pyromania is going to be Cody Rhodes.
The story's going to be incredible. Cody's going to kick out of absolutely everything. Paul Heyman's facial expressions are going to be off the chain. Solo's going to try and do something. Maybe we'll even get a cheeky Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn appearance here to counter the bloodline. I think the main event of Backlash will be a 6-man tag with Cody, Sami, and KO versus Solo and the Usos. That's, I think, where we're going for because I think Roman will take time off after Mania as well.
Early Backlash, Pred.
Well, it's rumored that that's one of the matches that's on the card, potentially. It would make sense. I mean, literally, Backlash is usually WrestleMania based rematches.
Well, it is WrestleMania Backlash, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just called Backlash this year, but it's still the same thing.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's still the same thing. And
good. And I'm glad.
That's that just makes too much sense to me. So, yeah, Cody wins to close off Mania. I really want it to happen now. I love Roman, but it's time to move on. We need to go forward. And like you say, Keeney, the storyline can continue, and you get Roman versus Jay at SummerSlam, in my opinion. That's where it goes.
Yeah, I agree.
Seal this whole thing off. You go full circle. It started with Roman and Jay, and it'll end with Roman and Jay.
Jay wins.
I would love that, but I don't know.
Jay.
I don't
Maybe. It might make sense. I mean, also, I will just say, I think they've done, because I think we sat here after the Rumble and said the momentum's with Sami Zayn and everyone's behind Sami Zayn and there's no story between Cody and Roman, and how do they build Cody up to fight Roman? I think they've done a really good job because they've kept Sami Zayn really relevant, but not got him in the title match. And he's had his Roman shot as well now. And I think they've built Cody really well. Most of it has been with Heyman more so than Roman, but there's been a bit of back and forth with Roman. And I think Cody's been absolutely phenomenal since he's come into WWE. I think he hasn't missed a step. Everything he's done has been exactly the right thing to do, which wasn't always the case in
weirdly,
AEW.
Even the injury helped him in a way because it made you miss him again.
Yeah,
as well, and that can be a blessing sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Even that big injury.
He might have got stale by now if he was around that whole time.
Yeah. Well, you look at AEW, he struggled and fans turned against him and thrown his belt back at him, and it all just turned really sour over there. And WWE has just been fits like a glove. It's just perfect. So, and it's a completely fresh, brand new champion who's never been champion before, which is always a cool thing to get at a Mania. So, yeah, would be a huge ending on what will probably be a long 2 nights, but will be awesome. Very, very enjoyable. So you have heard our predictions. We'll put them on our Twitter page, as you should as well. At Recharge Wrestle on Twitter to get involved. We've had quite a few entries already. We're expecting loads more over the Mania weekend. I mean, if you wanted to get your night 1 predictions in on Saturday, then you can leave it till Sunday to get your night 2 predictions in. However you want to do it, most people probably wait till after SmackDown just in case something happens and something gets added. I mean, if there is that 14th match added. Maybe we can throw a tweet out for people to predict that as well.
Yeah, maybe. Although I did say earlier in the tweet that if there's a match added last minute,
I guess it depends how soon it's announced.
Yeah, if it's on Friday on SmackDown, maybe. But if it's after night one of WrestleMania, probably not.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so get involved with that. There's a chance to win a WWE t-shirt of your choosing at the end of the year. But mainly just get involved because it's just good fun to predict and see how you get on against other people. Us three haven't actually had too many different predictions. I think there have been quite a few different predictions.
There has been across the board. We've had a few go towards the end. So at least that made it a bit more interesting. I thought we would, at one point, it was like we were just following each other and saying the same thing. But there was a bit of drama towards the end, at least. Yeah,
definitely. And like, there's going to be so many twists and turns that we're not going to be bang on at all. There's Mania's quite unpredictable as an event in general. But yeah, follow us on Twitter, get involved in the prediction league. If you're not watching us on YouTube, or even if you are, like, subscribe, and check out all of our video content on there. There is a 2K My GM mode, thank you, Fisher, that I have put out. I think we're on the second episode, sorry. I think there's a couple in the bank, and that will come out over the next few weeks. So every Wednesday, 7:00, I think I've scheduled them to come out. They'll be coming out. So check that out. So if you're into 2K23, that's always a good bit of fun. And I'm sure we'll put out some content after Mania is over to review Mania. Yeah, I'm sure we will, even if it's, individual videos or whether we'll get time to fit it into our diaries. But we will be back same time next week to review the Raw after WrestleMania, which is huge. I actually look forward to that as much as Mania almost, because so many surprises and stuff there. So that will be good. But yeah, so check us out. I'll say we'll be back with some Mania content, and we'll catch you then, guys. So enjoy Mania weekend, and we will see you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
See ya.